Get your calendar. Today we preview some events that you're going to want to know about. That's next on CityCorner. I'm Steve Potter, and welcome to CityCorner. Well, I love fall and the changing seasons. It makes me want to get out and do things. Mike Ochonicky is the arts editor for The Healthy Planet magazine, and she joins us a few times a year to kind of preview things we want to put on our calendar and go do.
It's a busy time of year for everybody.
And I love summer, but I'm glad it's over.
Oh yeah, it's sweater weather.
The Healthy Planet magazine, by the way, we should remind people, it was only online for a while, like everyone else was during COVID, but you guys are back in print. People I know sometimes find it at their grocery store or something like that.
We've been in print for a while now, and you can pick us up. We're a free magazine. You can pick it up at most, at Whole Foods, at Straub's, at most libraries, at the Botanical Garden, so quite a few places.
And of course, you're the arts editor, so what you do here today with us is previewing art events and things like that. But the magazine itself is about healthy living as far as diet and lifestyle and that sort of stuff.
And exercise and getting outside. And healthy living includes the arts. That gives you a well-rounded life.
It's mental health.
It is.
Right.
It is. And adds beauty to your life. Makes you think.
It's all about it. Well, we've got quite a list here of things. And these are all things probably coming up in the next month or so, something like that.
Yes.
Right. Well, why don't we just get right into it? And Mike, Laumeier Sculpture Park is what we're going to start with.
Yeah, Laumeier Sculpture Park, which is on Rott Road in Sunset Hills. And this is a picture from last year of Laumeier After Dark. It's going to be on November 4th, one night only, 4 to 10 p.m. And there'll be, you can go on the trails and they'll be illuminated by artist-designed lighting structures.
I've never been to that. That must
Cool.
be a really interesting experience.
It is, because artists from the area have designed different ways to light not only the sculptures, but to also light the trails. And there's some, as you just saw in that image, there's some tunnels you go through, and it's just fun. There'll also be live music. There'll be some artists there with work available for sale, and there'll be food trucks. So it's a nice way to spend an evening outside.
Dance St. Louis is something I'm familiar with because back in the day, years ago, I used to do things for them, go to events and speak at events and things. And they're excellent. I used to think I was one of those people that grew up. I didn't think I liked dance because I didn't know much about it. But once I kind of got into it, I understood it more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's a common comment that I hear people, oh, I don't like dance. Oh, yeah, you will. Much of the dance that we see now has become so athletic. And it is just beautifully done, and the music's awesome. This is coming to the Two Hill on November 11th, and it's Trinity Irish Dance Company.
Is that what we have the video of?
Yeah, you want to see it?
Yeah, let's take a
They're all
look.
about power and grace and a message of female empowerment. It's all
right,
women
let's
cast.
look.
And you just have to say, wow.
There's a
It's
reason,
not river dance.
there's a reason I don't dance in public.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And these women are amazing. So you really want to go and see them. It kicks off the season for our Dance St. Louis.
All right, we have something going on at a cathedral.
We do. The Cathedral Basilica of St. Louis hosts concerts, and the Vienna Boys Choir are coming to the cathedral on November 13th. They're celebrating their 525th year.
Wait a minute, back up.
The Vienna Boys Choir was founded in 1498.
Wait a minute. Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492, right?
That's how long these groups have been, not the same boys, but they've been singing. And they are one of the most stringent training. Each of these guys has to know how to play one instrument by the age of 9.
They're kids.
Yeah, Yeah, and their voices are just magnificent. So this is the 50th time they have come to the United States since 1932. So you want to go and give a listen.
Wow, Vienna Voice Choir. How about a little classical guitar?
How about it? Dan Bradick here is coming to the High-Low Listening Room, and he's performing in a local spotlight performance by St. Louis Classical Guitar. Normally, St. Louis Classical Guitar brings in international performers, but this time they're spotlighting a local guy. So you do want to go. He's been compared to Chet Atkins and Jerry Reed. He's got kind of a country swing to his music, so you do want to go and hear it. And that's on November 15th.
You know, we were talking about dance and how some people's first impressions, they don't realize it. The classical guitar was the same thing for me too. I always thought it would be more like classical music, but it's not. It's really just its own thing.
It's my favorite.
Why? What do you like about it?
I don't know. It just, you know how some things just kind of speak to you, and the music is just so beautiful. One time we were in Barcelona and came around a corner, I could hear music, and there was a guy just sitting back on the stones playing, and it was so beautiful. Because I think it kind of transcends time, you know? It's the same as it's always been because it's acoustical. It's not electric.
Yeah. You have some sort of, I think the next one's some sort of global chamber music.
Yeah.
Maybe you should define global chamber music.
Well, it's Miguel Espinosa Fusion. And so this group, which is a cellist, a guitarist, and a bass player, they are rooted in flamenco and classical and jazz, but they cross over all those genres. So again, flamenco and classical and jazz with strings. So real lively, beautiful music. They're going to be at the Two Hill on November 16th.
The Two Hill's a great venue too.
It is. It really is. So anyway, and that easy parking there, right? You just park right in the lot and pop right in. So
Well, you know, Shakespeare is very popular here in St. Louis and has been for a long time.
they are. They have the Shakespeare Festival in Forest Park every summer. We all love that. But a lot of people don't realize they perform throughout the year. And so they're going to be performing at the National Blues Museum on Washington.
Downtown.
Yeah, is that not great? And they're putting on the Q Brothers Christmas Carol. It'll run November 21st through December 23rd. And these are the ghosts of hip hop past, hip hop present, and hip hop future. It's reggae and rock music. It's going to be fun.
Well, that's a really neat venue too. When they first opened, I know STL TV, we did a little live broadcast from down there, and that's worth checking out.
It is. And that's another one of those little things that we don't always realize is there. I recently read St. Louis has some 55 museums. 55.
55?
55 in the region. So there's lots to see and do here.
Maybe next show you come, we could do all 55 museums
there
or
you
something
go.
like that, a museum show.
We could. Sounds like a good idea.
Well, the St. Louis Symphony needs no introduction.
No, but when you see this next image coming up, that's what Powell Hall is going to look like.
I've been reading in the news for a long time about what they've got planned there. It seems incredible.
It is. It's awesome. And the neat thing about it is with their building being renovated and updated, they're not going to change everything, but much of it will be a little more user-friendly. They consider themselves an orchestra for everyone. So they're still performing, but they're performing at various venues all over the region. So on November 24th, they're going to be at St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Cottleville. On November 25th, they're going to be at the Manchester United Church of Christ in Woods Mill in Manchester. November 26th, they'll be at the Sheldon, and that's just the start. As long as Powell Hall is under reconstruction, they're going to be performing all over the area. So you can't say, oh, I can't get down to Powell, because the symphony's coming to you this year.
Right.
And they've got a whole list of venues on their
besides
website.
renovating Powell, they're adding on too, right?
I think so. I'm not real sure.
Okay.
I think there's something with parking, additional parking that's going in. I'm not real sure.
Do we know the timetable on that? Or?
I thought it was 2025.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
It's going to be the full year they're out.
Well, let's go from the St. Louis Symphony to the St. Louis Ballet.
Ah, yes. Well, the St. Louis Ballet is a favorite. They perform at the Two Hill also. And November 25th and 26th, and then December 15th and 23rd, they perform the beloved Nutcracker. So it's great for all ages. And another thing that I want to mention about the St. Louis Ballet that you might not know, especially for educators, on their website, they offer ballet resources for schools and educators. And you can stream ballet performances for classrooms. So it's a great option. They also have some lesson plans to teach kids about dance and let them learn terms, etc. So it's not just for dance schools, it's for anyone.
I would think ballet would be sort of a good exercise too, like yoga kind of.
Oh, those dancers are in such great shape. Yeah, it would be, definitely.
Well, we're coming up on a break, but let's talk a little bit about pastel artists. And when you say pastel,
I'm not talking about just pink and blue. Pastel is a kind of a compressed crayon of oil paint. Does that make sense? So they work with their hands and they can spread it, but it's compressed oil paint.
Look
So
how peaceful
isn't
that
that
looks.
beautiful? So the 25th annual Gateway Pastel Artist Members Competition is coming up at Norton Fine Art Gallery, and it will run through November 25th. So I think that's Thanksgiving weekend. And you can see just how beautiful the works are.
but it can also vary in style, right? They all don't just look like that. All
No,
smooth
no,
and pretty.
no.
They can be different.
You can draw with pastel and then cut through it. It can be thick, it can be thin, it can be contemporary work.
Now you're
Depends
an
on the
artist.
artist. I am.
Do you ever worked with pastel? I always get mixed up with you because you kind of do different things.
Yeah, no, I do scrimshaw and
Yeah.
I do oil painting.
Right. Oh, well, I've got something, we've got a little piece of work of your work I want to share when we come back from the break, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, we're talking about fall events in St. Louis. We'll be back with more on City.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Visitors and residents love the St. Louis Zoo because it's free. There's a train, a carousel, opportunities to make new friends, and plenty of fun learning experiences with the animals 363 days a year. So come and experience St. Louis.
What I love about St. Louis is the 79 unique neighborhoods nestled into 108 city parks, including Forest Park, which is actually larger than Central Park in New York, and of course, the beautiful Tower Grove Park where I'm at now. Oh, the St. Louis Blues. We've got the St. Louis Surge, two-time WBCBL champions. We've got Harris Stowe, WashU, St. Louis University, and of course, the 11-time World Series champion, St. Louis Cardinals. So come experience St. Louis.
I'm Steve Potter. Welcome back to City Corner. Mike Ochonicky is back with us, previewing fall events, everything from music, art, dance, and everything in between. I do want to ask you, besides your job at The Healthy Planet magazine, you have your own thing going and have for years, Stone Hollow Studio.
That's right.
Which is where you get creative, right?
It is. I've been in business for 44 years, coming up on 45. And I do a few shows. I also sell my work to various shops and galleries around the U.S.
Well, I wanted to share something with our audience because I happened to see this on Facebook. I think it's a tabletop that you made, and I think it was in a show. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's a wine tabletop, so it's kind of low, but it's about 24 inches around. And scrimshaw was a sailor's art. It was originally done by sailors on board whaling ships in the 17 and 1800s. I don't work on whale bone. This is cow bone.
The voice choir was around back then.
Yeah, they were. They can tell you about it. But this is cow bone, and each line that you see, I hand cut with just a little scribe, kind of like a needle, and then I put ink.
What's the dimensions of that?
24 inches around.
Wow.
It took most of the pandemic. The scene is, these are grapevines and olive branches, and the center medallion is a Renaissance Italian pattern. I had been in Italy just before the pandemic, just before everything shut down, and got back here, and so was kind of inspired.
Do you have legs for it?
It's on a pedestal.
Oh.
It's on a brass pedestal with a big base.
Now see, I couldn't
Perfect for your wine bottle.
Well, I was going to say I couldn't use that as like a breakfast room table because I wouldn't want to put anything on top of it.
Oh, no, it's low like this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's like a
Right.
cocktail
Purely
table
decorative.
for wine. No, it's to be used.
Okay.
It's to be used.
All right. Well, what we're doing now is giving people ideas of what they can do this fall because there are lots of things. And it's interesting. You just mentioned how many museums there were in St. Louis that I didn't realize. I guess maybe the same goes for art galleries because there's an exhibit in art gallery that I've never heard of. So has it been around for a while? Tell me about it.
Yeah, for quite a while. The Gretchen Brigham Gallery, and it's located at the Union Avenue Christian Church. That's on 733 North Union, just north of Forest Park.
And what's that?
And so this is one of the, there's an exhibition there that's running through November 25th. This is Calm in the Eye of the Storm by Amanda Jolly. And the exhibition is called Peace, Who is God? And so 22 artists from Missouri, Kansas, and Illinois, like this one, this is Peace Begins With You by Valerie Rippey, will be on exhibition. And the show was curated by David Brinker. I don't know if you know David, he's the executive director at MOCRA, which is the Museum of Contemporary Religious Art on St. Louis University's campus.
Right. That's neat. Another exhibition, and I like this because I grew up with quilts. I grew up with quilts like my great aunts made in, I don't know, the early 1900s and stuff. So I don't know if people have quilts anymore, do they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're making a big comeback, all those handcrafts.
Yeah, so what's this exhibit about?
Well, the next exhibit is at University City Public Library. They host various art exhibits, and this is the Quintessential Quilt 2023. The one that you see right here is called Reach for the Stars, and that's by Lois Hayes, and it was chosen viewer's choice. So it runs through the end of October, so it just barely touches into November. But I do like to send out a shout out to the U City Public Library because their exhibits run every month, all different things, not just quilts.
Back in the old days, I remember my grandmother and my great aunts, it seemed like all women did quilts back then. It was like a hobby for everybody.
Yeah,
Right?
and you used up all the little precious scraps that you had,
Right.
or meaningful pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful art. What's going on at Webster?
At Webster Arts, and they're at 2 Summit Avenue in Webster where Big Bend and Lockwood come together. They are hosting their members showcase. And each year, They'll have that run through December 15th. They also are hosting a fall still life series, and it's on Thursdays from 6 to 8. Just show up and bring your own supplies. They'll have a still life set up, and there'll be some artists there who can assist you. So it's not really a class, but it's just kind of a drop in. And on November 25th, they host their members market. So it'll be all kinds of artwork and handmade things that are available for shopping, holiday gift giving.
Well, Mike, of course, you're the arts editor for the Healthy Planet magazine, and aren't you having some sort of expo coming up?
Well, we usually do in fall, Steve. We normally have a fall and a spring healthy living expo. This year we're not going to have the fall one, but we'll be back in spring.
And what can people expect there?
It's always at the Webster Groves Recreational Complex, and we have all kinds of food vendors and household vendors. I ordered a geothermal hot water tank there one year from one of the vendors. All kinds of things that bring healthy living into your life.
Neat. The Green Door Art Gallery.
Green Door.
You know, I've never been there either, but that one is on my radar.
That's also in Webster.
Right.
It's on Gore, right off Lockwood, and they have a couple of exhibitions going on. First of all, they have one at an Edwards Jones office on 3141 South Grand through November 30th. And that one is various artists who have done the city beautiful views of St. Louis.
That looks like Forest Park.
This is the Finding the Flow exhibit, and this is called Still Autumn by Michael Anderson. This will be on the gallery through December 1st, as will this one, which is Exaltation by Gary Lang. So they have some on South Grand at the Edward Jones office, and then this is at their main office.
Mike, I know a couple of things that you like to champion. One of those would be small business shopping. Why is that important?
Well, because it matters. You know, it's important to support your community. I think when you give a gift by somebody from the community, first of all, it's meaningful. Secondly, it's not something you're going to find in just every big box store. It's going to be unique and different. And it really does mean, like, I once heard it said that when you buy from a small business owner, they do the happy dance, and they don't do a happy dance in big box stores for you. So it's important to support local artists and local makers and small shops.
I'm the same way with regular businesses. Just for an example, like I go to big box stores and things once in a while too, but I also have a little family grocery that's as big as my garage down the street. And I go down there, even though sometimes their milk's a little more expensive, because I want to support the local guy.
Yeah, it's important. That keeps the money in the community and keeps the community connected as well.
What's going on at the Kemper?
At the Kemper, we have Adam Pendleton has an exhibition coming up, To Divide By, and this is on through January 15th. This is an interesting concept. He mixes paintings and drawings, etc. And so the premise of his works are, think how we define people, how our conversations are so often fragmented. We're often fragmented. For example, you visit somebody and you go, "How are you?" And you expect to hear him just say, "Oh, I'm fine." You know, like we don't really get in depth about anything, right? So that's what his work is about, exploring that. There's also a second exhibition at the Kemper running the same time. And these are pieces that give insight into the experience of the artist who immigrated to America during World War II to escape Nazi
Do we
persecution.
know what this is exactly?
Yeah, Max Ernst is in here, and Ferdinand Lager is in. These were the artists that emigrated together.
That's interesting.
There's also an exhibition going on through December 31st, also at the Kemper, called Disorderly Materials and Contingent Objects. So it's kind of three-dimensional. So there's lots at the Kemper, lots to see there. And that's on WashU's campus.
Another thing I wanted to ask you about is Buy Missouri and what's the slogan? Shop
Shop small.
Shop small, that's it.
Yeah.
That kind of relates to what you were talking about before, right?
Yeah, those are two different groups. Buy Missouri is a state-run initiative, and it's trying to link together people who make things here in Missouri, whether artists or roofing companies or barbecue sauce makers, whatever, so that you have a network. You can go to the buymissouri.net website and find those people. The Shop Small is a Saturday and Sunday in November, just before Thanksgiving. And the idea is shop local, shop small, before you make those big purchases elsewhere.
Right, good advice. The Pulitzer is an incredible destination point.
It is. And I'm always upset when I hear people say, the what? Where? the Pulitzers.
How can they not know that? It's in Grand
Well,
Center.
Not everybody gets around, you know. It's on Washington between Grand and Spring, and they are hosting Sarah Cromer with Around Orange. She's a New York-based artist, but she's got 3 site-specific works. This is one of them here. And then they're also hosting a simultaneous exhibition called Urban Archaeology, Lost Buildings of St. Louis. And it's these terracotta pieces from the National Building Arts Center over in Sauget.
A month or 2 ago, I actually did a segment on this program about this exhibit, and it's absolutely fascinating.
Especially when you look at these pieces and you think they were up on buildings where people really don't see them. The workmanship that was put in when somebody would just glance at it.
And what's
by.
amazing too is when a lot of them were torn down, we're so lucky that they saved some of this.
They are. And it's amazing that they didn't get destroyed. But yeah, they're gorgeous works of art.
So that's up for how long? Or?
That is up through February 4th.
All right.
So you got time to go see
I
it.
think we've got one more exhibit to talk about, and this is at CAM, Contemporary Art Museum.
So if you're at the Pulitzer, this is just right next
You can
door.
walk- you can walk there.
And this is Justin Favala's work, and he's up through February 11th. He is a Nevada-based artist, but his inspiration comes from cartoneria, which is piñata making. So if you look at this, they're little bitty scraps of paper, like
Oh,
on a
really?
piñata. And this is not a piñata; it's a piece that hangs, 2-dimensional piece.
I love the
But
color
they're little
combination, though. It just really jumps out at you.
kind of like shag carpet.
Better than shag carpet.
Much better, much better. And there's also an exhibit there by Dominic Chambers. He's from St. Louis, and his exhibition is called Birthplace. He takes kind of common public sites like a classroom. You probably were in this classroom. I was. I mean, they look like any other classroom, and turns it into a beautiful work of art. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes, it is.
The color and
Almost makes me want to study.
yeah, that'd be good for you. Okay, and then we're back at camp for trivia night. They have trivia night on November 11th with MC Michelle Daugherty, and she's the producer and co-host from the Literally Speaking podcast.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, no, not so much. And then, of course, another thing at CAM that some parents don't know is that the second Saturday of each month, they host a play day for the little ones. And it runs from 10 to noon, and they have art supplies, etc. Parents have to accompany the kids, but the kids get to be artsy.
Well, Michelle, I wanted to use your full name there.
Thank you.
Mike Ochonicky, thank you so much from the Healthy Planet magazine, and go to thehealthyplanet.com, or if you want to check out Mike's work, go to stonehollowstudio.com, and you can do that, and we'll have you back probably 2 or 3 times a year, just to kind of preview what's ahead, and we appreciate it because you got my calendar full.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
so
Mike.
much.
Great
Thanks,
seeing you.
Steve.
And thanks for being with us on City Corner. Have a great week. See you next time. Bye.